You are Navy SEAL.
24 hours ago, armed men assaulted a girls' school 80 miles northwest of Benin City, Nigeria. They also captured Richard Taggart, former troop chief at this command.
Sir, my team wants that mission.
What kind of stories can we expect in season 2 of 6?
I mean, what really we want to get into is what is it like to have been fighting the longest war in American history for the last 15 years as these characters with their warrior families, which you saw there, but also with their home families, because these people, the SEALs, have been the spear point of the war we've been fighting for the last 15 years.
And in the show, one of the things that's so powerful, I think, about 6 is you show the warrior families and the home families. You show, in a sense, that's an entry point for those of us who aren't in the military to understand the people that we're talking about and that you guys are showing us.
Well, exactly. Like when I was in Vietnam many years ago, you go, and also my father in World War II, you went off to war and then you came home. These guys are in the carpool lines and taking out the trash, and then suddenly they have to go and deal with some of the most dangerous people on the planet in very morally ambiguous situations, and then come back and be husbands and fathers and sons again. So this is really the conflict or the tension between what we send these men to do and what the cost is on them and on their families.
We saw a full story. Will we see one full story make up season 2?
Yeah, we're going to have a basic, larger story arc, but it's going to link thematically with those themes of revenge and consequence that really drive the heart of our story.
Bruce McKenna and I said, you know, I love the script. I've always wanted to work on a Western. And they kind of looked at me like, what? It's about Navy SEALs. And I said, no, it's really a neo-Western about kind of modern-day lawmen.
It's a very interesting way of looking
at
it.
Yeah, who are going into these really crazy terrain, going after bad guys, and living in kind of a fringe of civilization, right? We don't condone that kind of behavior in civilized society, but we do condone it in the war.
Walton, I mean, an amazing performance, as you said, as a man who has descended into savagery and has lost himself and the people he loves in many ways. Give us a little bit of sense of what that was like for him as an actor as you can, and what you guys wanted him to achieve and how he achieved it.
Well, I think what happens is that when you have an actor like Walton who plumbs the real heart of a character, it ends up being a collaborative effort to find out what the arc of this, how far we can go, how deep we can go, and he also makes everyone else in the cast better. I mean, there's some extraordinary duets between him and like Dominic Adams, who is the mirror image of Walton's character. He is, and that's what we try to do, is to humanize, not excuse or justify the people we're fighting as well. And Walton and Dominic have these amazing scenes where they essentially trade places. You know, he's a very anti-war guy, and all of us have different, opinions and politically, but his ability to imagine what it's like to be this kind of warrior and to translate that in the most subtle and powerful ways just, it took our breath away over and over.
SEAL Team 6.
That's who I am.
Our word is our bond. You never dishonor your country. You never dishonor the squadron. This is your family. All of us.
For each other, for each other, for each other, for each other.
How did you capture that realism and that sense of, this is what these guys really do, this is the way they talk, this is how long the beards get when they're in the field, how did that work?
Well, we have an amazing technical advisor named Mitch Hall, who's a former SEAL. He was in SEALs 20 years, 5 years SEAL Team 6. And he also had a couple of guys that he served with in that unit also help out in the show. And Mitch is almost, honestly, kind of like Director 1B. He's right by the monitors. He's working with the actors. He actually put the actors through a mini SEAL boot camp, during which most of them wanted to quit. Not surprisingly, because I would have wanted to quit too.
You didn't do the boot camp.
I was there watching, but thankfully,
boot camp should be experienced.
Yes, exactly. But I do think that boot camp was instructive to them, because I give them a little bit of flavor of how these guys bond under enormously stressful situations, right? And they just forge a brotherhood of sorts. And I think that's what we were trying to give them a sense of.
Why do you think, and you look, I mean, let's be honest, the show has been a success by the metric that we gauge things with, both creatively but also by the ratings. Why do you think this has been the time for 6?
Well, because I think that we've seen these guys portrayed as like bulletproof superheroes, and we don't. We show how great they are and how good they do it, what they do, but we also show how human they are. And the authenticity, the other side of that is that I was in Vietnam, and my son was a special ops guy who joined after 9/11. And what I learned was what it's like to be the family. Like when he was on deployment, I didn't answer the phone. I couldn't watch the news. If I saw a strange car coming up the driveway, I would go out back and hide. And I realized, this is what today people are going through right now.